Hello friends, welcome to Guidance IAS YouTube channel. So here we'll be seeing today that you all have attempted the prelims question paper. आपने paper 1 काफी अच्छे से attempt किया है and very congratulations to all of you that you have done very well. Okay, this time period it is a quite good time period. यहाँ we'll be seeing that we have gone through a very lot of questions, current affairs question, then all lot of questions. So यहाँ guidance में आज will be recording some part of the environment section. सो एनवायरमेंट एंड इकोलॉजी के सम क्वेश्चंस हम लोग डिस्कस करेंगे जो कि आज के प्रीलिम्स में पूछे गए हैं ओके फ्रॉम द सेक्शन ऑफ एनवायरमेंट एंड इकोलॉजी सो पेपर देखा गया है कि वी हैव सीन द पेपर इज नॉट दैट वेरी डिफिकल्ट एंड फ्यू क्वेश्चंस आर नॉट दैट वेरी इजी and few questions are requiring a kind of very deeper knowledge of the biodiversity and few questions they are requiring a knowledge of a kind of very basic concepts. तो concepts भी देखेंगे, facts भी देखेंगे, बहुत सारी चीजें रिक्वायर कर रही है. विल गो थ्रू लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. ओके, सो विल बी डिस्कसिंग हियर द सेट ए पार्ट. ओके, विल बी डिस्कसिंग द सेट ए पार्ट ऑफ द टुडेस पेपर, दैट इज द 2022 का डिस्कशन. ओके, मूव फॉरवर्ड करते हैं फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन से, जो कि सेट ए का क्वेश्चन नंबर 41 है. सो यहाँ पे डायरेक्टली पूछा गया है व्हाट इज द क्लाइमेट एक्शन ट्रैकर. ओके, क्लाइमेट एक्शन ट्रैकर पूछा गया है. सो विच मॉनिटर्स द एमिशंस रिडक्शंस ऑफ द कंट्रीज इज. ओके, कंट्रीज के क्या कौन कौन सी चीजों को ये मॉनिटर करता है. सो हियर विल बी सीइंग दैट it is basically a database. Okay, it is basically a database which is created by coalition of research organization. Okay, so यहाँ पे for the confusion, the other kind of the statements we can see here is it is a wing of International Panel of Climate Change. Okay, IPCC का it is another panel, so it is not a correct statement. Then there is committee under the Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Then it is also not a correct framework. Then it is agency promoted and financed by Nations Environment, United Program and World Bank. So it is also not a correct statement. So correct statement is A. That is the Climate Action Tracker. अब इसके बारे में कुछ facts देख लेंगे. So it is basically the Climate Action Tracker is an independent scientific analysis. Okay, एक independent scientific analysis है which has been formed by different governments, climate actions and measures it against the globally agreed Paris Agreement. Okay, Paris Agreement के अंडर में बनाई गई है and which aims of holding warming well below 2 degrees Celsius. Okay, 2 degrees Celsius से and pursuing offering it to just keeping it below 1.5 degree Celsius. 1.5 degree Celsius से इसको नीचे रखना है. So this is the very basic information, okay, which is required for clearing or just marking the answer for this part. Okay, moving forward, we'll be seeing next thing, that is consider the following statements for the climate group. The climate group देखेंगे कि okay, there are almost 5 statements here. तो 5 statements हम लोग पहले try करेंगे understand करने का. So here 5 statements will be seeing that it is an international non-profit organization that derives climate action by building large networks and runs them. Okay, this is the first statement. The next statement is it is the International Energy Agency in partnership with the climate group, a global initiative which is called as P100. P100 इससे कहा गया है. The next statement is this EP100. Okay, this EP100 it brings together the leading companies which are present, which is committed to driving innovation in the energy efficiency and increasing competitiveness while delivering an emission reduction goal. So next statement देखेंगे. Some Indian companies are members of the EP100, that is EP100. Next, we'll be seeing that the International Energy Agency is the secretariat to the Under 2 coalition. Okay, this Under 2 coalition, this was already asked in UPSC previous papers. Mein. It was already asked by UPSC. So what is this Under 2 coalition? We'll be seeing further. Now here, if we'll be seeing that, which is the correct statement? Which is the correct statement? We'll be seeing that. So here the International Energy Agency in partnership with Climate Group and a global initiative called EP100, it is not a correct statement. This is not a correct statement. Then we'll be also seeing that the International Energy Agency, it is not a secretariat to the Under 2 coalition. So ये दोनों जब statement we are able to eliminate, then we'll be seeing that the answer is 1, 3 and 4. So the answer will be saying that it is 1, 3 and 4. Moving forward, here we'll be seeing that here the climate group is an initiative of the non-profit founded under 2003. So with the offices in the New York, London, then New Delhi, Amsterdam and Beijing. In these places there is office of this coalition. Then their mission is to drive climate action, okay, fast. So this group builds and runs networks of 2 EP200. So next statement is basically EP100 is a global initiative which is led by international non-profit climate group bringing together over 120 energy smart businesses committees. So ये statement यहाँ पे हम लोगों ने देखा कि सही है. Then देखेंगे कि it is measuring and reporting on energy efficiency improvements. So in the Indian part will be saying कि Indian part में the Mahindra and Mahindra, it became the first Indian company to join the EP100 initiative. So India is actively taking part in this program. Then next thing will be saying that the climate group is the secretariat to the under two coalition. Okay, climate group, it is the secretariat. So हमने देखा कि जो fifth statement था, it was incorrect. So here इनका जो basic policies है, it is to pathways है, decide करना. Then what are the different policy actions has to be taken? Then what is the transparency and how to maintain the diplomacy between these countries. So this is the this was about the climate group initiative. Then next question will be saying the if rainforest, okay, question number 43 will be saying here from the set A, if rainforest and the tropical forest are the lungs of the earth, okay, these are the lungs of the earth, then surely wetlands, okay, wetland functions as the kidneys, okay, it is specifically specifying it is functioning as the kidneys. Which one of the following functions of the wetlands best reflect the above statement? Okay, so here we have to understand the wetlands first. Wetlands को यहाँ पे understand करना पड़ेगा. So here we have seen the wetlands basically they play major roles in the conservation of the environment, for the recreation of the environment. How they do them? They basically absorb the heavy metals and minerals which are present inside the wetland का जो soil का part है, okay, deep soil part है, यहाँ पे जो भी minerals found होते हैं, जो भी heavy metals found होते हैं, basically if we'll see what is the function of the kidney. Kidney basically it filters the blood. It filters the blood. So if we'll see that there is a kind of filtration process is going on. Okay, filtration process is going on. So how this filtration process can go on? So we can see here that there are various kind of biodegradable waste. Biodegradable waste क्या होते हैं? They just undergo the kind of natural decomposition. वो natural decomposition में जाते हैं and there it is automatically recreating or recreation process is getting natural. But the kind of aquatic plants which are present in the wetlands, they absorb the heavy metals and excess nutrients. They absorb the heavy metals and excess nutrients, and at this point we'll be saying that they are functioning as the kidneys. Okay, they are functioning as the kidneys of the environment. So this is the question here. We can see its solution is D. So it is the D which is the solution for this question. Moving forward, next is the okay explanation में same thing दी गई है कि what are the different type of things are there. वहाँ पे heavy metals कहाँ से आते हैं, and how it is absorbing, what are the different kind of aquatic plants. So you can just go through this part. Moving forward, we'll be saying that in the context of WHO air quality, okay, air quality guidelines, जो कि अभी 2020 में latest आई है. So consider the following statements. Okay, we'll be saying that upon this question, upon this WHO air quality guidelines, there was a question in mains 2021 in the environment and disaster part. Okay, environment and disaster part mein there was a question on the same thing, on the same WHO air quality guidelines pe there was a question. So here we'll be saying that if anyone has read that question and tried to attempt that question, he has tried to or she has tried to make an attempt to that question, then this question would have been very simple. It would have been very simple to kind of dealing with. Now here we will be saying that option 1, it is saying that the 24 hours mean of 2.5, okay, PM 2.5 should not exceed 115 microgram per meter cube, and annual mean of PM 2.5 should not exceed 5 microgram per meter cube. Okay, now यहाँ पे will be saying that the data which is needed here, it is very difficult to remember. Now we'll be trying to make an elimination technique in this question. Okay, so here next we'll be saying that in a year the highest levels of ozone, okay, highest level of ozone we have studied that it is forming because of the volatile organic compounds which are present on the near surface of earth, which are present in the near surface of earth. So here occurs during the periods of inclement. Okay, inclement word will be discussing weather. Now inclement basically it means the bad weather. Okay, bad weather here it will be. So bad weather here will be seeing that it is having a kind of a high pressure system. Okay, high pressure system है, cyclonic system है. So it is kind of a bad weather system. So in this inclement weather will be seeing that here the pressure conditions are quite higher. Okay, here the pressure conditions are quite higher on this side. So it is making the kind of a weather that is kind of polluted also. Polluted hai. There is smog formation is there. So this is the inclement weather. Next is the PM10. The PM10 here can penetrate the lung barrier and enter the bloodstreams. So here there is a check. Okay, here there is a check that PM10. PM10 basically we are inhaling the air. So here the air contains PM10 and PM2.5 also. But the maximum amount of the damage which is being done to the lungs, it is done by the PM2.5. It is done by PM 2.5 and not by the PM10. Okay, and not by the PM10. So PM10 basically it is being filtered. It is being filtered. The maximum amount of PM10 it is being filtered in lungs, and very minimum amount of PM10 it is getting into the bloodstreams. But PM2.5 it is not being filtered by the lungs. It is not being filtered by the lungs, and it is then getting into the bloodstream. So यहाँ पे will be seeing that the options 3 on both the sides, it is quite a wrong answer. Okay, because of this thing, PM 2.5 वाले part के कारण, these options we can eliminate them. Then here excessive ozone in the air can trigger asthma also. So here we'll be seeing that key kind of the system which is happening here. Okay, if ozone layer if it is present in the surface of the earth, it will lead to various kind of the diseases. It will lead to various kind of diseases. So lung disease is one of the very important aspect of that part. So here we can say that the solution here is B, that is 1 and 4. Now understanding the second part. Second part will be understanding here. So as we can see that if there is a kind of inclement weather and there is a high pressure, there is a high pressure system. So here we'll be seeing that in this high pressure system, what happens basically, when the bad weather comes, this high pressure system, it is disturbed. It is disturbed, and there is movement of air. And there is movement of air. So because of this movement of air, we'll be seeing that the ozone which is present here, the ozone layer which is present here, it will start moving. It will start moving. Therefore, maximum amount of the ozone layer, it will not be present at this time, at the time of the inclement weather system. Okay, so यहाँ पे ये हम लोग part discuss करते हैं. So its answer is basically B, 1 and 4. Moving forward, we'll be seeing the next question. यहाँ पे same thing it is written here. You can just go through it. Okay, next is the Gucci. Okay, next is the with reference to the Gucci sometimes mentioned in the news. So here we'll be seeing that what are the different statements which is given by the UPSC. So here it is acting as a fungus, first thing. Second thing, it grows in some Himalayan forest areas. Third thing, it is commercially cultivated in the Himalayan foothills of the northeastern India. So यहाँ पे will be saying that the Gucci, if you know about the Gucci, then only you can attempt this question. So about the Gucci, if we'll be saying that it is a kind of a fungus. It is a kind of a fungus which is growing in the foothills of the western Himalayas part. It is being grown in the part of the western Himalayas. So it is not being grown in the parts of the eastern Himalayas. Okay, northeastern part of Himalayas mein they are not grown. So here we'll be saying that the answer is basically 1 and 2. The answer here is 1 and 2. So here we basically will be seeing that it is a kind of the Gucci. Okay, this is the Gucci we can see. This is the Gucci. So it is kind of a mushroom. It is a kind of a mushroom. So it belongs to the fungus. Okay, it is basically a fungus to the family of Morchiaceae of the Ascomycota. Okay, Ascomycota. So here we'll be seeing that it grows in the Himalayan foothills. Himalayan foothills में grow करता है, but not on the northeastern part of the Himalayas. The mushrooms cannot be cultivated commercially and grow in the conifer forest across the temperate region. Okay, it is basically the temperate regions and the foothills in the Himachal Pradesh, Uttaranchal and Jammu and Kashmir. So in these regions it is being grown. It is not being grown in the this kind of region. Okay, so this is the Gucci. Next is the with reference to the polyethylene terephthalate and the use of which is a widespread in our daily lives. So consider the following statements. So statements हम लोग देखेंगे यहाँ पे. So first statement is its fibers can be blended with the wool and cotton fibers. Okay, it can be blended with the wool and cotton fibers to reinforce their properties. Okay, to increase the properties or to increase the strength of this wool and this cotton. So if we'll mix some kind of fiber, some kind of plastic with the fiber like wool and cotton, so it will basically increase the strength of those materials. So this statement will be saying that it is a correct statement. The next will be saying that the containers made of it can be used to store any alcoholic beverages. Okay, to store any alcoholic beverages. So here we'll be saying that not all the containers they are suitable for the this kind of for the keeping the beverages like alcoholic beverages. So here we'll be saying that here this statement it is basically incorrect. This statement here it is incorrect. Next we'll be saying that the bottles made of it can be recycled into the other products. Okay, so here we can see that the material which is present here it can be recycled again and again for very number of times. So here we'll be saying that this statement it becomes correct as it can be recycled. Okay, this polyethylene it can be recycled, therefore this statement is correct. Next is the articles made of it can be easily disposed of by the incineration without causing. Okay, it is now specifying here without causing greenhouse gases emissions. Okay, so it is anyway not possible. This thing is not possible that you burn any kind of plastic and it is not releasing any kind of greenhouse gases or the harmful gases. So here this statement also it becomes naturally wrong. In this question we'll be seeing that there is not of very efforts or very knowledge is required for solving this kind of question. We can just go through this question very easily. So here the natural answer is A, 1 and 3. Okay, so we'll be moving forward with the next question. So here we can just go through the explanation of this part. Moving forward, which of the following is not a bird? Okay, which of the following is not a bird? Very easy question it is. This golden mahseer, it has been asked 2 to 3 times by UPSC in the previous year's question papers. If anyone has gone through the previous year's question papers very thoroughly, then this type of question, it can be very easily answered. So here we'll be seeing that this golden mahseer, basically it is a fish. Okay, here we can say that this is basically a golden mahseer. You can see that how the golden mahseer is. So if you have just heard about the golden mahseer, then you can just go through this question. So it is very easy. Its explanation in detail, it is also not very much required. Moving forward, next is which of the following are nitrogen fixing plants? Okay, nitrogen fixing plants. So nitrogen fixing plants, they are basically the kind of leguminous plants. Okay, one of the plants we can say they are the leguminous plants. So here, if we will naturally identify the kind of natural leguminous plants, so that is the chickpea. Okay, chickpea is the natural plant which is leguminous in nature. So here, if we will see the answer, we can get through these two statements. We are getting the two statements here. Now we'll be moving forward to the other kind of this grasses. Okay, other kind of grasses and plants will be saying. So next is the alfalfa grasses. Okay, alfalfa grasses, if you have studied, so these grasses they were basically introduced in the Latin America. Okay, it were introduced in the Latin America. Why? To replace the native grasses. To replace the native grasses which are present there. As these grasses, as this alfalfa grasses, they were more nutritious. They were more nutritious. So this was the characteristics of the alfalfa grasses, and they were able to have the this quality, that is the nitrogen fixing quality. So it was present in these grasses, therefore they are able to do that. Next we'll be seeing that the spinach which is available here. The spinach which is available here. So you might have heard about that spinach is grown. So here fertilizers are used. Okay, so fertilizers are used for this kind of spinach, which are the plants available here. So here it requires spinach. Here it requires the fertilizers, that is nitrogenous fertilizers are required for its production or for its cultivation. So here we'll be seeing that this can be eliminated. It can be eliminated. Next is the Amarnath plant. Okay, Amarnath plant, or it is a kind of grass also. So this Amarnath plant, they also require some kind of nitrogen fixation, that is the application of fertilizers, that is nitrogenous fertilizers. So from this part we'll be saying that here the option 1, 3 and 4 is the correct option. This part is the correct option. How we can just go through them? we can just study the different kind of plants and the species which are present there, how they are being utilized, how they are being present there, and what kind of their roles and functions are there with the environment and ecology. So this question we can just go through very easily. This is the question. Okay, so same thing is specified here: the amarnath, the spinach, and the purslane. Okay, these are the three plants which are requiring the nitrogen fixing externally, that is by the application of nitrogenous fertilizers. So we can just go to the next part, that is the question number 49 of set A, that is the biorock technology. Now this biorock technology, it has been previously asked by UPSC. Now this biorock technology, now what it is basically used for the building of the coral reefs. And these coral reefs, they are built by artificial making of the cages of steel. Okay, they are being artificially made. Now what happens here, when this cage is being made, there will be running the kind of electricity. As the electricity is run through this steel part, so what happens here, here it's anode and cathode, this both things are working. So the calcium ions which are present in the part of the water, in the sea water, this calcium ions, they go and stick to these cages. Okay, they go and they stick to these frames, because of which we can say that there is a formation of the calcium deposit on the upper layer of this steel. Okay, this iron part, the upper layer, it is deposited with the calcium part. If very simple example will be saying that, if you have seen a heater rod, okay, heater rod, we आपके घर पे एक heater rod होगा. So if you have seen the heater rod, it is coiled like this. Okay, it is coiled like this, and here there is a switch here. So we'll be saying that after few months or after few years, there is a kind of deposition of layer here. There is a kind of deposition of layer on this part. So we can see here that the same phenomena is occurring on the inside the sea also. The same phenomena is occurring inside the sea. Why? Because of the high electricity which is being produced in this part, there is heating being done. And here the ions such as the magnesium ion, calcium ion, they form a layer over them, which is almost whitish to grayish in color. So very naturally we'll be seeing that the same phenomena it is occurring here. So it is basically the restoration of the damaged coral reefs. Okay, so same phenomena we can understand through the diagram also. So this is the same thing we have seen. Okay, this is the same diagram. This is the cage system. Here there is a battery is being provided from where the current is being flown into this steel cages, and this steel cages, it is attaching or it is attracting the calcium and magnesium ions which are present inside the sea, and it is leading to the formation of the coral reefs. Okay, basically not the coral reefs, it is leading to the formation of the uh, calcium substrate. Okay, calcium substrate, it is being formed over these cages. Now what happens, the divers come there and they bring some species of coral reefs. Okay, they bring some species of coral reefs and they place them on these sections. Now after few months or few years, these coral reefs, they will start multiplying, and they can cover this entire region with the coral reefs. Therefore, for the coral restoration, this technique has been applied, which is called also called as the biorock technique. Okay, moving forward, next is the Miyawaki method. Okay, Miyawaki method. If you have read this part in the current affairs, it has been in news since last 3 to 4 years. So Miyawaki method, basically it was introduced in by Japan. It was introduced in Japan. Basically what happened, there was a kind of large scale deforestation and there was very high urbanization in Japan. So because of this urbanization, there was very low trees. Okay, the density of the trees, it reduced. The trees there, they reduced. Okay, the density of trees reduced. So what happened next? There was a Miyawaki technique was applied. Why? Because this urban region, it has to be made green again. It has to be made green again. So in this technique, what happened? There was a some shorter height of trees were taken. Some shorter height of trees were taken so that their height could not reach beyond one point. so that their heights could not reach beyond one point. It has been cut through by various methods and techniques, so that the amount of water which is used by them, it is also less. The kind of evaporation which is being done by this plant, it is also less. So by making all these arrangements, there was a Miyawaki technique was being made. Now here what happens, the plant saplings, they are being made or they are grown in one region. Then these plant saplings, when they grow up, when they can sustain themselves, then as they become self sustainable, they are moved towards the this urban regions. So this is nothing but the Miyawaki technique. So this is the creation of mini forest in the urban areas. So you can just understand here, it is written as a mini forest. Okay, mini forest is written here. So you can just think, if you have read about the Miyawaki technique, it was already in the news for a lot of time. Okay, so here the technique has been specified here. That is the Miyawaki technique. You can just see that how this technique is working. So you can just go through this part. Moving forward, next is the which one of the following has been constituted under the Environmental Protection Act, that is 1986. So if you have read the previous year question, okay, previous year question. So in the 2021 itself or 2020 itself, a question is being asked that under the Central Groundwater Authority, the Central Groundwater Authority, it is a statutory body. It was specified in that question in the prelims part. It was already specified there that this Central Groundwater Authority, actually it was asked in 2020 prelims. It was asked in 2020 prelims that this Central Groundwater Authority, it was a statutory body and it was formed under this Environmental Protection Act of 1986. So if you just have read that question and you have just gone through the various kind of the aspects of those question, then this question could have been a very piece of cake. Okay, it would have been a very easy question for you. Okay, its solution is C here. Moving forward, next question is the, okay, it is the same thing which is specified here. Then moving forward, which one of the following statements best describe the polar code? Okay, polar code. Now, polar code basically, if we'll see the Earth, if we'll see the Earth, there is large scale water is being or large scale ice is being melting in these two regions. That is the Arctic region and the Antarctic region. Okay, Arctic and the Antarctic region. Now we have seen that already that this Arctic region, it is basically a ocean. Okay, and this Antarctic region, it is basically a land. Okay, there is a land and the ice cover is being made there. There is ice cover in this Antarctic region. Now if there is large scale melting of ice, so what will happen, there will be transportation movement. Okay, there will be movement of various kind of ships will take place in this region. So what should be the technique, okay, how this movement of ships should take place, so that the environment which is present in these two regions, the environment which is present in these two regions, it is very less disturbed or it is very less degraded. Okay, very less degraded. Therefore, for the protection of these regions, for the protection of these regions from degradation, this polar code has been made. This polar code had been made. So here its solution will be saying that it is the International Code of Safety for Ships Operating in the Polar Waters. So this is the answer for this question, that is the polar codes. Moving forward, this is the kind of the some explanation has been given here. Okay, same thing is specified. Then moving next, which one of the following best describes the term greenwashing? Okay, greenwashing. Now, what do you mean by brainwashing? Okay, brainwashing means you just give a false, okay, or the when there is a some original idea, there is some original idea, and you replace this original idea. You replace this original idea with some other idea which is fake. Okay, which is fake in nature. So this is the basic, very basic understanding. Okay, it is a very basic approach here that you can make here, that what is the greenwashing and what is the, that is the brainwashing. So in brainwashing, what we see, the original idea, it is being replaced by the fake idea. Same thing we'll be seeing that in the greenwashing, what happens here, the kind of the labeling, the kind of the products which are being sold in the market, these products, they are being sold in some kind of the tags. Okay, they are using some kind of tags or they are using some kind of the codes. Okay, they are using some kind of the codes. So they are specifying themselves as 100% natural or 100% organic or 100% they are environmental friendly. Okay, they are specifying themselves environmental friendly. So basically, what is this? What this logo does, what this codes or what this logos they define. Okay, they define the kind of the certification. They define a kind of a certification. But there are some certifying bodies. There are some certifying bodies. For example, in India we have the BIS, Bureau of, there is the BIS system we have. So Bureau of Indian Standards basically. So this is the certifying body. There is ISO. It is a certifying body. But if there is a some certifying body or a non-certifying body, it is just specifying. It is just claiming that I am the 100% original. I am just a 100% environmental friendly product. So it can be a false claim also. It can be a false claim also. So here we can see that it is conveying a false impression that a company's products are eco-friendly and environmentally sound. But this is a fake impression. This is kind of a greenwashing. In the this part we'll be seeing that there we can see various kind of the logos which have been designed, which are specifying, which are self-claiming themselves as the bio-friendly, the 100% natural, then 100% organic, then there is a bio logo is given here, then 100% sustainable, 100% eco, earth friendly. So we can just see here that the kind of the self certification is being given by this kind of the products. Okay, this kind of companies. So they are greenwashing. This is the greenwashing which is being done. So we can say that original logos which can see here, that these are the original logos which are being provided here. Okay, so this is the greenwashing technique. So you can just go through this part. Next, we'll be seeing the next question. That is the high clouds. Okay, consider the following statements. Okay, consider the following statements. In the set A, this is the question number 81. So here we'll be seeing that the high clouds primarily reflect the solar radiation and cool the surface of the earth. Okay, cool the surface of the earth. Now, what it is specifying here, that there are two types of clouds. We have already learned about them, that there are high clouds and there are low clouds. The height of this high cloud, it is almost 3 kilometers and above, 3 to 4 kilometers and above, and these the low clouds, they are almost at the range of 1 to 2 kilometers. So what happens, the kind of high cloud which is present here, they are kind of a cirrus kind of clouds. Okay, they are kind of a cirrus kind of clouds. So these clouds, they are basically very thin. They are basically very thin. So here we can see that the clouds which are present in the lower part, they are quite very thick. These clouds are very thick. So as the cloud is very thin, here the kind of albedo which is taking place, here the albedo will be less. So albedo, it will be less on this part. So because of the less albedo, what happens here, the kind of sun rays which are coming, the kind of incoming solar radiation, okay, the incoming solar radiation, they can penetrate here. Why? Because these rays, they are short wavelength, short wavelength waves or radiation. Short wavelength radiation. These are the short wavelength radiation. So they can just pass through them. They can just pass through these clouds. So here we'll be seeing that the kind of reflection which is being done here, the kind of reflection which is being done here, it is quite less. So here what is happening? The reflection is less. The reflection here, it is less, and there is very high amount of absorption. There is very high amount of absorption which is being done on this part. So as it is absorbing the heat rays, as its albedo is less, so here we'll be seeing that it is having large amount of heat accumulation, and this heat accumulation, then it is reflected on this part. This heat, it is then moving towards the lower part of the earth. Next we'll be seeing that here on the lower cloud side, here the clouds are quite dense. They are quite dense here. So because of their high density, as we have seen that the ice block or the snow, they have high albedo. They have high albedo. So here we'll be saying that these clouds, they can reflect maximum amount of the infrared radiation. Okay, in the question it is asked that the infrared radiation. Okay, here we have seen that the high absorption of infrared radiation emanating from the earth's surface and thus causes warming effect. Okay, infrared radiation, therefore we can see that here the infrared radiation, it is being reflected back very largely. It is reflected back. Therefore, the amount of the heat, the amount of the shortwave radiation which is coming inside, it is quite very low. It is quite very low. Now, it is the second phenomena. This is the second phenomena that after it is striking this region, after the sun rays they are striking this region, it is then being reflected on this clouds from the lower side. Now, here it is the characteristics of this shortwave radiation or the short wavelength radiation, it has changed to the long wavelength radiation. Long wavelength radiation. So here and this part will be saying that the amount of radiation which is the coming from the sun side, that is the insolation, it is maximum, it is reflected back. But the amount of heating, the maximum heating which is being done here, it is because of the long wavelength radiation. So here we'll be saying that this concept have to be used on this part. The same concept have to be used on this part. So here we'll be saying that the high clouds, it primarily reflects the solar radiation and cool the surface of the earth. Here we have seen that these radiations, they are penetrating to clouds and they are warming up. They are hitting the surface of earth. Therefore, this part it is wrong. Then next we'll be seeing that the low clouds have a high absorption of infrared radiation emanating from the earth's surface, thus causes warming effect. As we have seen that the lower clouds which are present on the lower side, they are having a quite high albedo. Okay, there is a high albedo. So here this absorption, this is a wrong word. Okay, here there should be maximum reflection which has been taken place because of the high albedo. So therefore this part it also becomes wrong. Therefore the solution here becomes that is neither one nor two. So this is the very simple question. Okay, it is basically a conceptual question. Here the concepts have to be identified. That is, what is the insolation, what is the terrestrial radiation, what is the infrared radiation. You have to just give the part that what is the infrared radiation. It is coming from the sun side. Okay, it is coming from the sun. That is the infrared radiation. So this question can be easily solved. Now, moving forward. Next is the, okay, same thing is specified here. Okay, same thing is specified here, we can see. Next is with reference to the Indian laws about the wildlife protection, consider the following statements. Okay, there have been some statements been given according to the wildlife. So wildlife animals or wild animals are the sole property of the government. Okay, so if you'll be seeing that if there are any kind of wild animal is present, okay, any wild animal is present, so it is a kind of property of the government. It is the property of the government. Any kind of the liability which is being taking place in the part of this wild animals, so it is being done by the government. Now we can understand by this by any example. If there is a tiger, it is coming to any region. If this tiger it is having a man animal conflict with some any xyz person, if this person it is getting some kind of scratches or if it is hit by the this tiger, then if he survives, then the claims, then all kind of liabilities for this person, that he should be admitted, he should be hospitalized, and the other claims, it is being done by the government. Why it is being done? This is the section here, that because it is a government property, it is a government property. If any kind of damage is being done on this animal, then the person is liable, as it has damaged the government property. If any kind of the damage is being done by the animal to the person, then it is also a government liability. So this is the correct part. Okay, this is the correct answer, this part one, that is the. Next we'll be seeing that when a wild animal is declared protected, okay, if it is declared protected, such animal is entitled for equal protection. Equal protection whether it is found in protected areas or outside. If there is an elephant present, okay, if it is actually a pet animal, okay, if there is a wild elephant, okay, there is a wild elephant, then both the elephants, they are liable for the equal kind of protection under this law. So this statement is also correct. Now next statement we can see here, The apprehension of a protected wild animal becoming a danger to human life is sufficient ground. It is a sufficient ground for its capture or killing. Okay, for its capture or for killing. If this thing happens, then we can kill them or we can capture them. Then this is a wrong statement. This is a wrong statement. It is not been specified that if any kind of harm will be done by any animal, then it will be killed or captured. So this is a wrong statement. So here the correct statement is 1 and 2. Moving forward, we'll be seeing the explanation. Here it is provided that the Bombay High Court has ruled that wild animals, including the tiger, should be treated as government property for all the purposes, and any damage caused by them should be compensated by the government. So this is exactly the point why they are called as the government property. Next is statement 2 is correct. The law governing the subject of wildlife, the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, does not discriminate between the animals found in protected areas and outside it. Now, statement 3 is incorrect. Only if the wild animal becomes a danger to the human life or is diseased or disabled beyond recovery, it can be allowed to be captured or killed by the competent authority, the chief wildlife warden or the state. This provision is applicable to the wild animals listed in Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972, which includes leopards, which also includes the leopards. So mere apprehension, okay, where apprehension means it is the fear, okay, it is a fear or it is an apprehension that this animal will attack us and this animal will kill us. ये animal हम पे attack करेगा और हम पे kill करेगा, so इसे या तो मार दो या इसे पकड़ लो. So this is not a correct ground. It is not a solid ground for killing or capturing those animal. Okay, moving forward towards the next part. So question number 90 will be saying, so certain species, which one of them following organisms are well known as cultivators of fungi or cultivators of fungi? So here we'll be seeing that the options are ant, cockroach, crab and spider. So this question, basically this question, it is a kind of a very tricky question. It is a kind of very tricky question. So as we can see, the crabs, they are being found inside the sea. They are being found inside the sea. So they are found basically in the kind of the littoral zone or the sublittoral zone. They are found in the sublittoral or littoral zone. So here there can be a fungus presence can be made on this side. They can be carrying fungus. But actual answer here is the ant. Okay, and basically they are the answer here, that they are the animals. They are the animals which are kind of building the colonies of the fungus. They are building the colonies of the fungus and they are the cultivators of the fungus. We'll be seeing here with an example. So here we can see that there is a Smithian worker, okay, M. Smithian worker, that is an ant. So here we'll be seeing that its substrate, it is harvested in the field. They are being harvesting in the field, and from this substrate we can see they are making the fungus gardens. They are making the fungus gardens and they are feeding on them. They are feeding on them. So this is the thing which is being specified in this part. Now how they are doing this? They over time, some insects have come to rely on fungi for a variety of resources, including room and board. Okay, they are making it room and board also. So ants, wasps, beetles, and a variety of other insects have adapted to using fungi primarily for the reinforcing structures such as the sources of food, with the most extreme examples resulting in the cultivation of the fungal crops. Okay, so as we can say that the human beings, they are also using yeast, they are also using the mushrooms. We are also using the yeast and mushroom for the feeding purposes. Therefore, animals, they are also using this part. So, ant is the animal which is making colonies of the fungus for feeding themselves. Moving forward, next is the question, that is the question number 100. Consider the following statements. That first statement is carbon monoxide, then nitrogen oxide, then ozone and sulfur dioxide. Then here it is asking that excess of which of the above in the environment is or are causes of acid rain, is or of causes of the acid rain. So here it is a very simple question being asked. It is a very simple question being asked, that the carbon monoxide, basically it does not mix with the water for forming any kind of the carbonous acid or carbonic acid. It is not formed by this carbon monoxide and it is not forming a acid rain. But nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide or sulfur oxide, they are forming the acid rain. They are forming the acid rain. Here in the ozone part, we'll be seeing that ozone is also not dissolving in the water to form any kind of acid. It is not leading to the formation of any kind of acid. So here we can see that the answer is very basic. Okay, the answer here, it is very basic, that is 2 and 4. 2 and 4 is the answer here. Okay, so here we have seen that the various kind of questions there, those were very simple questions being asked in the examination. We can just see from this part that there is two acids being formed, that is H2SO4 and HNO3, which are being formed because of the nitrogen oxide and sulfur dioxide. They are being released from the various kind of human activities into the atmosphere. Okay, so here then they are mixing with the water in the which is present in the atmosphere, and they are then getting back in the form of the acid rain. So this is the acid rain concept. Okay, if you have read this part very thoroughly, then this question is very easy to attempt. So here from the 17 questions we can learn that the part of the questions which are provided, so maximum of the questions they are being taken from the previous year's questions parts. So here we have seen that the discussions which have been taken earlier by the guidance as, it would have been providing very great kind of help to the students. It would have been provided very great kind of help to the students, and they would have cleared this kind of questions very clearly. So out of 17, there were almost 12 to 13 questions which could have been cleared with the very simple concepts. So we'll be concluding our environment and ecology part today here. Thank you very much. Stop.